Hi guys, today I'm going to show you a fall makeup tutorial which is going to help us transition into the cooler months by using cooler toned face products, cooler toned eyeshadows and blush, and kind of a deeper mauve lip which is more fall appropriate and is going to kind of bring us into the cooler months. So if you want to see how I got this look right here, then please keep watching. Starting off with eyes, I'm going to quickly curl my eyelashes with my Surrat eyelash curler. So I'm just going to prime my eyes with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot and my damp beauty blender as always. And then for a fall look, I think that matte eyeshadows really fit the bill and are the way to go. For some reason I imagine like a deep berry lip and a nice matte eye with a winged liner as kind of the like epitome of the fall look. So today I'm going to be using this MAC quad. I think it's called the Wild Horses quad. I'm not sure if this was limited edition or something, but I'm pretty sure like all the shades I'm going to be using are permanent eyeshadows. So I'm going to take this first shade, which is Brule, and sweep that all over the lid and then do the crease with charcoal brown. So I'm just going to take my Sigma E40 and, like I said, do the lighter shade all over to kind of set the eyeshadow primer, and then take Brule into the lid. And I'm just sweeping Brule charcoal brown into the crease here to add a little definition. And I like this quad because they're all matte. Usually I set my entire lid with a shimmery shadow just because I kind of like that more glowy eye look for day to day, but I really like the matte look too. I think it's really classic and nice for the winter months. And now I'm going to add a nice wing to the eyes, and you can use any products that are easiest for you to create a wing, but for me I'm going to use my Maybelline Unstoppable eyeliner to do the straight part of the line, and then my Kat Von D Trooper liner to just do the little flick. So go ahead and add a wing with whatever you're comfortable with. And winged eyeliner is on. Now I'm going to move on to mascara, and I'm going to use my favorite combination at the moment, which is the Revitalash Volumizing Primer and the CoverGirl Super Sizer Fibers Mascara. So this volumizing primer is like a deep indigo blue color. And it's really nice. I think it's also like has conditioning ingredient in it, so it kind of conditions your eyelashes and helps them grow longer. I'm not sure if it's necessarily doing that yet, but can't hurt. Eyes are done for now, and I'm going to move on to foundation, and I'm going to be using the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra, and this is my favorite foundation for combination skin. You would have seen me talk about it in my foundation video, but I love this for when I'm having dry patches, and because this is a fall transitional look, I actually do have a lot of like seasonal dryness around like my chin area, and that always kind of happens to me when the seasons change, and since we're kind of transitioning into colder weather, I definitely have that peeking through right now. And I wore this foundation the other day when I also had this dryness flaring up pretty bad, and it's just amazing. Like, I don't know what it is about this foundation that covers up dry patches, but even at the end of the day, like the dry patches I had were non-existent. They were totally covered. Usually like I can kind of, you know, fix the dry patches in the morning and moisturize really well, and then whatever foundation I put on will kind of look okay, but then by the end of the day it's kind of like cracking into a million pieces, and like my whole, you know, face looks kind of dry and scaly. But something in this foundation keeps that from happening, so I'm just gonna roll with it and keep using it because I love this. So I'm using one pump for the T-zone and then another one for the cheeks, and then I'll probably go in with a third pump just to kind of add coverage where I need it. And then I'm just taking the third pump and dotting it everywhere to add a bit more coverage overall. And I have the Orion's belt of zits right here along my jawline, so definitely add a little bit more coverage there to cover those. And now the foundation's mostly blended in, and like I said, I really love this foundation, especially because it has such a wide shade range and it's so good for combination skin. Although I don't have the perfect color match in it, there's just not really the perfect shade for me. But I'm going to go in now with concealer, and I'm going to use my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, which is on its last legs. But don't worry, I purchased a backup last night. So I'm just going to take this under the eye and blend it in with my finger. Now that I have the concealer blended in under my eyes, I love that concealer. I'm going to set it with the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. I'm just going to tap a little bit of that into its lid, and then use the corner of my damp beauty blender to press in the powder to set it. And make sure you're not wiping when you do this, you're just pressing it in. Wiping will kind of cause it to move all over the place, and you will not get a cute look at the end. Now that the under eye concealer is set, I'm going to move on to set the rest of my face, and I'm going to use my La Mer powder brush and my Osmosis Mineral Pressed Base in fair to set everything else. For the rest of the face, what really excites me about fall is using those fall mauve blushes. So I'm going to go in with a bronzer that's more matte than what I typically love. So I absolutely love my Becca Capri Coast bronzer, but I'm going to use this Glow Minerals Sunlight bronzer, which looks shimmery in the pan, but actually comes off pretty matte when you apply it. So I'm going to take that on a big fluffy brush and kind of blend it in all over. I think the fall look really suits a more matte bronzer look and a more cool toned bronzer. So another favorite of mine would be Benefit Halo. I just don't have that right now. So something like that that's more matte and cool toned would definitely work with this look. Like I said, just don't have it right now. And where I live, it's still like getting up into the mid 80s, even though it's the middle of October. So I think a warmer tone bronzer just kind of works for the area where I live, and a warm tone bronzer just works all year round, obviously. But I'm just going to take this all over the face and under the jaw just to kind of warm up and do my bronzing and contouring in one step. And then as always, I'm just going to take my NARS Ita brush with a little bit of that bronzer on it and lightly contour my nose. Okay, that's it for bronzer. Don't want to go too overboard. It's not the summer anymore, unfortunately. Next for highlighter, like I said, I'm going to stay on the cool tone train and use my CoverFX Moonlight highlighter here. I'm just going to take that on my Anastasia brush and dust this onto the cheekbones. I really like this cool color palette we have going on. I think it's really pretty for the fall. Alright, and now that highlighter and bronzer are on, we're going to move on to blush, and I'm going to use the Marc Jacobs Air Blush in Flesh and Fantasy, and this just kind of screams fall to me. It's very mauve-y, very neutral to cool toned, and I think it's just beautiful. So we're going to take this with my MAC 168 brush, and I'm just kind of gonna go into all the colors and mix them around, tap off the excess, and then apply it. And I always do my blush last because it goes in between highlighter and bronzer, and I think it does a nice job of just blending them together when you do it last. And this blush is beautiful. I love the look. Although I'm a little disappointed in this super expensive blush with this really pretty packaging. It broke like immediately, and I am not hard on my makeup at all. I just had it stored in a drawer and it just does not clip closed, which is so annoying. But finally, moving on to brows, I'm going to use my Clinique Superfine liner for brows in soft brown, and I'm just going to brush them up with the Anastasia brush spoolie here first, and then I'm just going to take my pencil and fill them in. And I think the fall time really suits a stronger brow. Moving into the colder months, I think especially you can get away with a darker brow because it's a little, darker and colder outside. And I have them filled in kind of to the darkness that I like, so I'm just going to lightly brush through them again with the spoolie to make sure they're not too harsh. And then I'm going to go ahead and set them with my usual Benefit Gimme Brow, but I'm going to use shade 1 instead of my usual shade 3 just to make sure they don't get too dark. I don't want to look too crazy. Oh wait, this is number 3. Not the right one. Number 1. And I'm super excited because I made my first Glossier order, and I ordered the Boy Brow, which is supposed to be amazing, and I'm not sure if it's going to be able to replace Gimme Brow as my favorite all-time brow gel, but we'll see. And once my package gets here, I'm definitely going to do an unboxing and first impressions of that because I'm super excited to try their products. Okay, and now to finish off the eyeshadow look, I'm going to take that same palette and that same charcoal brown color as before, and I'm going to look for a smaller eyeshadow brush, this one right here. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this and take it under the eye just to deepen it up a little bit and add some dimension to the lower lash line. I think this is just immediately makes your look more fall, because I think in summer you're kind of wearing a little bit less eye makeup, definitely nothing as smoky necessarily. So I'm just going to take this underneath, and I'm going to keep adding just a little bit at a time because I don't want it to get too dark, and look like I have a black eye or anything, but I don't want it to be non-existent, because when you don't have quite enough on the lower lash line, it just makes you look tired. It looks like you kind of have a shadow under your eye, and it's like a continuation of your dark circle. So I definitely want this eyeshadow to look like it's on purpose, not like I'm just tired and, half dead for Halloween or something. Okay, I think that's all good for the lower eyeshadow, and then I'm just going to take my Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara to quickly coat my bottom lashes and add some definition. I think this step is essential. If you put any sort of liner or eyeshadow on your bottom lash line, you have to have mascara, or else it just does not look complete. And then I'm just quickly adding another coat of my mascara to add a little more drama because it is fall and I think this is the time for, you know, cool tones, dark colors, and dramatic lashes. And then to finish off the eyes, I'm going to go back in with my CoverFX Moonlight highlighter and just use that on a small shader brush to highlight the inner corners and underneath the brow bone. This kind of eliminates the need for adding a whole nother eyeshadow, and because that palette we used was all matte shades, we can get the shimmer from our highlighter and no need to buy another eyeshadow. Alright, so that's it for the face, and now just to finish off the whole look, I'm going to do the lips, and I'm going to use a combination that I think is perfect for fall. I'm going to go in with MAC Whirl, which of course was super popular when Kylie Jenner first came out with her new lips, and everyone wanted to get their hands on this and it was sold out everywhere. Now it's much easier to get a hold of, so I'm going to go in with this to line, and then I'm going to go in with my 100% pure, what is this, Fruit Pigmented Pomegranate Oil Anti-Aging Lipstick in the shade Calendula, and this is a really nice, it looks super light, but with this lip liner it comes out as kind of a plummy, more fall shade, so you'll be able to see what it looks like. So I'm just going to go in and line with this look, and I also really like this because it's a cool toned mauve shade that I think is perfect for fall, and you can wear this under basically any lipstick. And as you can see, I just filled in the entire lip with this liner. And this isn't a super plummy, deep fall look because this is kind of my transitioning into fall look, not my, you know, dead of winter dark purple lip. So I really like this color. I think it's very nice. And then I'm going to go on top with the Calendula lipstick. And that lipstick just kind of lightens up the liner ever so slightly, but doesn't take away from kind of the deeper shade of it. And it's also much more moisturizing than just the lip liner on its own. So I think that's it from the lipstick, and the look is done. And this is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed seeing this tutorial for my cool toned fall transition look. I think this look is a great excuse to try to break out your cool toned eyeshadows and your Whirl Lip Liner, which you haven't used in a while, like most people. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how I put together these products, and thank you so much for watching.